Maharishi. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. The World Community Service Center. Be blessed. Be blessed. Be blessed. The Temple of Consciousness at RDR. Be blessed. Be blessed. Be blessed. All the meditation centers and the trusts around the world. Be blessed. Be blessed. Be blessed. We shall not hurt anyone in body, mind, or soul. We shall help those who are hurt. We shall not hurt anyone in body, mind, or soul. We shall help those who are hurt. We shall not hurt anyone in body, mind, or soul. We shall help those who are hurt. May the whole world live in peace, prosperity, and harmony. World Prayer. May the leaders of every nation intuitively attain divine realizations. The boundaries of all nations guarded by a force common to every country. May all men live without rancor or fear, working for a living, all wars disappear. May the people all over the world find lasting peace which fills their mind. Rain blessing. May there be rainfall in adequate strength so that lakes, ponds, wells, and rivers are filled to the brim. May people live in prosperity through ennoblement of character. May there be rainfall in adequate strength so that lakes, ponds, wells, and rivers are filled to the brim. May people live in prosperity through ennoblement of character. May there be rainfall in adequate strength so that lakes, ponds, wells, and rivers are filled to the brim. May people live in prosperity through ennoblement of character. May peace prevail within us. May peace prevail around us. May peace prevail all over the world. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Rub your palms gently together, place them over your eyes, and then gently wipe the face with the palms. Raise the hands over your head. Take a gentle, deep breath and release it. Bring the hands down sideways. Open your eyes gently and look at your palms and bless your Guru and bless all the people who are meditating along with you. Be blessed by the divine. Repository of Wisdom by Vedatri Maharishi. What happens to Anu? Written on 24th of December 1959. The beginning of all, the Adi, is the eternal space. When the infinite, true being raises itself, its first ever movement results in the evolution of atom. All the various appearances that can be sensed by our sensing organs are serial happenings to and by atom, the mighty force. The entire universe is thus formed and felt. This truth is realized by total alignment with large vision. Be blessed by the divine.
Dear Sky Meditators, be blessed by the divine. Thank you so much for being there and inspiring us to do what we are doing today. By the grace of divine force, we have come together to meditate this evening. We are blessed indeed to listen to the divine masters of the sky system. The insightful words of our Guru Vedatri Maharishi flow through every sky professor. Today's guest of honor is Professor Krish Murali Eswar. He was initiated into the sky system by Swamiji in 1984. He became a sky master in 1987. He is presently the IT Director of the World Community Service Center. He is my mentor. He has influenced me to form a lasting habit of sky practices in my life and the lives of many of our sky meditators throughout the world. He has made over 900 videos on sky system on his YouTube channel. He has also done extensive research in astrology with our Swamiji's horoscope. It is my pleasure to invite our Professor Krish Murali Eswar to deliver a speech on a very interesting topic. Science says silence is powerful.
Be blessed by the divine. In 2011, the Finnish Tourist Board ran a campaign that used silence as a marketing product. Are you surprised? Obviously, they sought to entice people to visit Finland and experience the beauty of this silent land. They released a series of photographs of single figures in the nature and used the slogan, "Silence, please." I believe Finland may be onto something very big. As the world around us becomes increasingly loud and cluttered, we may find ourselves seeking out the reprieve that silent places and silence have to offer. Studies are beginning to show that silence is much more important to our brains than what we might think. Silence regenerates brain cells. A 2013 study on mice published in the journal Brain Structure and Function used different types of noise and silence and monitored the effect the sound and silence had on the brains of the mice. The silence was intended to be the control in the study, but what they found was surprising. The scientists discovered that when the mice were exposed to 2 hours of silence per day, they developed new cells in the hippocampus. The hippocampus in the brain is a small region associated with memory, emotion, and learning. The growth of the new cells in the brain does not necessarily translate to tangible health benefits. However, in this instance, scientists has found that the cells appear to become functioning neurons. They claimed, "We saw that silence is really helping the new generated cells to differentiate into neurons and integrate into the system." In this sense, silence can quite literally grow our brain. The brain is actively internalizing and evaluating information during silence. A 2001 study defined a default mode of brain function that showed that even when the brain was resting, it was perpetually active, internalizing and evaluating information. Further study in 2013 was published in The Frontiers in Human Neuroscience. Joseph Moran wrote that the brain's default mode network is observed most closely during the psychological task of reflecting on one's personalities and characteristics, what we call as self-reflection, or what our Guru Yogiraj Sri Vethathiri Maharishi called as introspection or inner travel. Rather than during self-cognition, thinking of the self-concept or thinking about self-esteem, for example, self-reflection is a lot more powerful tool. When the brain rests, it is able to integrate internal and external information into a conscious workspace. When we are not distracted by noise or goal-oriented tasks, there appears to be a quiet time that allows our conscious workspace to process things. During these periods of silence, our brain has the freedom it needs to discover its place in our internal and external world. The default mode of the brain helps us think about profound things in an imaginative way. All profound things and emotions of things are preceded and attended by silence. Silence relieves stress and tension. Silence calms our soul. It has been found in research that noise can have a pronounced physical effect on our brains, resulting in elevated levels of stress hormones. The sound waves reach the brain as electrical signals via the ear. The body reacts to these signals even if it is sleeping. It is thought that the amygdala, which is located in the temporal lobes of our brain, is associated with memory formation and emotion is activated, and this causes a release of stress hormones. If we live in a constantly noisy environment around us and within us, that we are likely to experience chronically elevated levels of stress hormones. Now, do you see why we are constantly stressed? A 2002 study that was published in Psychological Science further examined the effects that the relocation of Munich's German's airport had on children's health and cognition. Gary Evans, a professor of human ecology at Cornell University, notes that children who are exposed to noise develop a stress response that causes them to ignore the noise. What is of interest is that these children not only ignored harmful stimuli, they also ignored stimuli that they should be paying attention to, such as teachers' lessons, parents' instructions, grandma's story. They were ignoring all of these as well. This study is among the strongest, probably the most definitive proof that noise, even at levels that do not produce any hearing damage, causes stress and is harmful to humans. Silence seems to have the opposite effect of the brain to noise. While noise may cause stress and tension, silence releases the tension in the brain and body. A study published in the journal Heart discovered that 2 minutes of silence can prove to be even more relaxing than listening to relaxing music. They based these findings of changes they noticed in blood pressure and blood circulation in the brain. Do you know silence replenishes our cognitive resources? Silence isn't empty, it's full of answers. The effect that noise pollution can have on cognitive task performance has been extensively studied, my friends. It has been found that noise harms task performance at work and at school. It can also be the cause of decreased motivation and an increase in error making. The cognitive functions most strongly affected by noise are reading attention, memory, and problem solving. Studies have also concluded that children exposed to households or classrooms near airplane flight paths, railways, or highways have lower reading scores and are slower in their development of cognitive and language skills. But it's not all bad news. It is possible for the brain to restore its finite cognitive resources. According to the attention restoration theory, when we are in an environment with lower levels of sensory input, the brain can recover some of its cognitive abilities. In silence, the brain is able to let down its sensory guard and restore some of what has been lost through excess noise. We are talking about silence that leads us towards the eternal bliss. The quieter we become, the more we are able to hear. The more we are able to hear our own internal mind, subconscious mind, reveal to us the secrets of who we are and the secrets of nature. Listen to silence. It has so much to say. All men's miseries derive from not being able to sit in a quiet room alone. Do you know that? Saying nothing sometimes says the most. Have you not felt it? Pythagoras once said, "A fool is known by his speech, and a wise man by silence." Mahatma Gandhi once said, "It is better in prayer to have a heart without words than words without a heart." Albert Einstein believed that the monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind. Silence is the sleep that nourishes wisdom. Noise creates illusions. Silence brings truth. Just think about it. If there were a little more silence, if we all kept quiet, maybe we could understand something very profound. In the silence behind what can be heard lies the answers we have been searching for so long. Speech is silver, silence is golden. The sound of a baby crying is one of the most disturbing sounds there is to the human brain. The military has used the sounds of crying babies to torture people. The noise calls to the lowest parts of our minds and tells us that something is wrong. When people hear a crying child, their first response is to try to make the noise stop. Bottles, pacifiers, rocking, anything to alleviate the sound that seems to drill a hole through our head. The cries of a baby are an awful sound. Crying is the sound of life. The child is trying to tell us, I believe that someone will meet my need, someone will come, someone loves me. It is indeed a beautiful sound, but yet we crave for silence. We don't like the cry of the child. The quiet and the wise lead quiet lives. Silence is a great source of strength. Inner silence is the mother of all talents. The closer we are to the truth, the more silent we become inside. I quote Albert Einstein once again. I think 99 times and find nothing. I stop thinking, swim in silence, and the truth comes to me. The great musician Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart once said, all I insist on, and nothing else, is that you should show the whole world that you are not afraid. Be silent if you choose. But when it is necessary, speak, and speak in such a way that people will remember it. There are many reasons for us to start making time for silence, rest, and solitude. Let's look at some of them. Too often, we work so hard, our focus is on productivity, that we lead ourselves to a point of burnout. Reason number 2, we are constantly reacting to external stimuli and to our internal noise. This increases sensitivity. Number 3, our brain is constantly imagining troubles. We have expectations leading to frustration, disappointment, and anxiety is rooted in being disconnected with our own inner silence. Number 4, we forget things. When our hippocampus region in the brain is not receiving adequate biomagnetic energy, we forget things. Number 5, mind is unable to cultivate a form of mindful intention in every action of ours. Therefore, in our forgetful state, we hurt ourselves and we hurt others. Number 6, over-disciplining, over-anxiousness leads to our actions being governed by emotions, decreases our self-awareness. We forget that we need to exercise our brain in order to grow it. The brain is perhaps the most complex and powerful organ, like muscles. It requires rest. When we have some free time, we must give it some adequate rest. We shouldn't be fiddling around with social media and we shouldn't be playing games. We are constantly exposed to uncomfortable situations. Silence alone will allow us to break out of our reactive nature, reactionary nature. Last but not the least reason to remain in silence is we need emotional cleansing. Ego, illusions, and imprints of sin needs to be cleansed from our genetic center. The only sure way to do that is to remain in silence and introspect. I have begun to realize that I can listen to silence and learn from it. It has a quality and a dimension all its own. However, time and silence appear to be two of the most luxurious things today. But the more we understand silence, that's where balance comes. Everything has its wonders, even darkness and silence, and you learn whatever state you are in, therein to be content. When you practice silence introspection on a regular basis, you will hear your silence so loud that you will begin to realize that there is something terribly wrong with a culture inebriated by noise and gregariousness. The things we understand create silence. The things that we do not create emotions. Dalai Lama once said, "Silence is sometimes the best answer." Within us is the soul of the whole, the wise silence, the universal beauty, the eternal one. What a beautiful saying by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Don't imagine that silence means you're going to be in seclusion. We have long stigmatized solitude. It has been considered an inconvenience, something to avoid, a punishment, a realm of loners. Science has often aligned it with negative outcomes. Freud, who linked solitude with anxiety, noted that in children the first phobias relating to situations are those of darkness and solitude. John Cacioppo, a modern social neuroscientist who has extensively studied loneliness, what he calls chronic perceived isolation, contends that beyond damaging our thinking powers, isolation can even harm our physical health. But increasingly, scientists are approaching solitude as something that, when pursued by choice, can prove therapeutic. When people are experiencing crisis, it's not always just about you. It's about how you are in the society. When people take moments to explore their solitude, not only will they be forced to confront who they are, they just might learn a little bit about how to outmaneuver some of the anxiety that surrounds them in a social setting. We cannot see things in perspective until we cease to hug them to our bosom. So therefore, silence introspection, moving away from existentializing moments, mental flickers of clarity can come to us. This can only occur during inward-focused solitude. When we have those moments of clarity, we must learn not to fight it, but to accept it for what it is. Let it emerge calmly and truthfully, and we must learn not to resist it. Only then we will be able to dig deep into our mind and discover why we have stored up, pent up emotions and hurts, feelings that we must let go. That's possible only through silence introspection. Our alone time should not be something that we are afraid of. It is a deeper internal process, a chance for us to explore our internal world. It will, I promise you, turn out into a pleasant experience. The value of solitude depends on us finding an interior solitude. Solitude is self-strengthening. Solitude can be effective if it is voluntary. If we can sit down, examine our emotions effectively, and discriminate between what will cause hurt for us and others and what will not cause hurt for us and others, and choose to develop positive thinking in place of negative emotional actions. Solitude can be restorative. It can really lift us out of problems. It really has a powerful function for making us understand our predicament in this universe. It reveals the secrets of nature that no other meditative tool can ever give us. Remaining in silence starts with tying our tongue, to put a restraint order on our tongue. It's a ritual. It is the first virtue to restrain the tongue. Our heart has hidden treasures, in secret, kept in silence, sealed. The thoughts, the hopes, the dreams, the pleasure, whose charms were broken if revealed. Silence speaks when words cannot. In silence, there is eloquence. Stop weaving and see how the pattern improves. All your teachers may die one day, but your silence will never die. There is no teacher bigger and better than your own inner silence. Silence is a true friend who never betrays. Leonardo da Vinci once said, "Nothing strengthens authority so much as silence." Pablo Picasso believed that without great solitude, no serious work is possible. Mahatma Gandhiji once said, "Speak only if it improves upon the silence." To give our brain a break, we actually end up stimulating it. Noise disturbs our brain, and we foolishly imagine in the sound of the game, in the sound of social media, in the noise of the world around us, we actually relax. No, we don't. When we make a conscious choice to put our phone down and decide how we will use the silence, we will be able to discover what a beautiful world that awaits us within us. I'm not suggesting that it's going to be easy for you to find time to enjoy the quietude. We need to make it a priority for us. Our brain requires silence. Our brain requires reflection time. Our brain requires solitude. Our brain requires meditation. Our brain requires reflection and introspection. During these silent moments, we must not worry and ruminate, but eradicate worries, get rid of fears from our hearts. We know the world would be a kinder place if we all slowed down and sat each day, and everyone on this planet could benefit from meditation and introspection. Silence helps us to live consciously. Psychologists and philosophers alike have said silence can wake us up and provide meaningful answers in our lives. Silence can give us a gentle nudge to let us know if something doesn't feel right by putting us in touch with our body and our emotions. The psychological benefit of experiencing silence, even when it makes us uncomfortable, can mean more purposeful living. Silence can increase self-awareness, self-compassion, and improve decision-making skills with improved mental clarity. We must use silence to become more mindful and self-compassionate. Being conscious is the first step in emotional healing. It's being able to turn toward and acknowledge our difficult thoughts and feelings such as inadequacy, sadness, anger, or confusion. With a spirit of openness and curiosity, self-compassion involves responding to those difficult thoughts and feelings with kindness, sympathy, and understanding so that we soothe and comfort ourselves when we are hurting. Research has shown that self-compassion greatly enhances emotional well-being. It boosts happiness, reduces anxiety and depression, and even can help maintain healthy lifestyle habits such as diet and exercise. Being both mindful and compassionate leads to greater ease and well-being in our daily lives. Silence can enhance conversations. By choosing silence, we will naturally listen more, and others have the opportunity to share more, enhancing our relationships. Silence is a tool for increased emotional regulation. Silence can be the space between a feeling and a response. Take a silent pause and choose your response calmly and wisely. It requires practice. Silence gets better with practice. If silence is something we rarely get or even fear it a little, lean towards activities that can help us practice. Join Sky Yoga system. Join the silence retreat in Arya Temple of Consciousness. Join the silence retreat in the local Sky Yoga Center. Or sit quietly in your own home. Remain in silence. Feel the stillness as the other end of your conscious mind. Before you go to bed, sit in silence. Remain calm. Listen to your thoughts flow. Introspect. Choose positive thinking. Reflect on the day. Note down what has gone right for you throughout the day, what has gone wrong for you throughout the day. Take a break. Silence is indeed a great source of strength. Mozart once beautifully said, "The music is not in the notes, but in the silence between." Charles de Gaulle said, "Silence is the ultimate weapon of power." If you face God in prayer and silence, God will speak to you. then you will know that you are nothing. It is only when you realize your nothingness, your emptiness, that God can fill you with Himself. Souls of prayer are souls of great silence. Mother Teresa. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity to share my thoughts on silence. Be blessed by the divine.
Be blessed by the divine. Thank you for the external excellent speech, sir. It was very powerful, and your every word in the speech penetrates through every cell, and you have definitely left a legacy for all the future generations to follow. Thank you very much, sir. Now the forum is open for discussions. Please click the raise hand button in your Zoom app to ask your questions. While you are all getting ready with the questions, we have some important announcements. We all know that we are learning to live with COVID-19, right? Get ready, improve your immunity system. If you have not learned Kayakalpa Yoga yet, please visit kayakalpayoga.edu.in, or you can download the Android app. Recommend to your friends and relatives. This is the greatest gift what you can present them. Our monthly journal Unbully is also available in Android app. Download the Unbully app from the Android Play Store. Get access to premium content of Swamiji speeches. You can connect with us on Facebook and YouTube at Sky Yoga TV to listen to all past speeches of our professors on various aspects of Sky Yoga. Karma Yoga principles of Vedatrium suggest donating 1% of income to the good causes of society. Be generous, donate to the World Community Service Center. There are multiple channels to do that, either through the Unbully app or on our official website, vedatri.edu.in. There is Section 80G exemption is also available for these donations. Now the forum is open for Q&A session. Suresh, please go ahead.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes, Valgalamannaya. Your speech was very wonderful regarding the silence is very powerful and it is very wonderful. Can I ask a general question regarding to?
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
please.
Yes, whenever I practice meditation during the morning times, I feel the mind frequency getting reduced, and I feel myself very refreshed of doing my day-to-day activities. But the difficulty which I face is when I go to office and doing the work times, due to work pressure, I find myself due to work pressure and some other distractions, the mind frequency is getting increased, and I am not able to concentrate much on the work. Can you suggest me how to handle this during the work time, please?
Our expectations increases our mental frequency. When we have very high expectations, even if it is induced by your boss or your organization, it is you who is permitting those expectations to grow on you. When you have such very high expectations on yourself, you are bound to put a lot of pressure on yourself. And in the process, your anxiety will increase, your mental frequency will increase. Examine your expectations. Do you really need to have so many imaginary expectations? Maybe there are also embedded fears in us. When we go to office, we expect to do a good job, because when we do a good job, we get good money. When we get good money, we can take care of ourselves. We can take care of our parents, take care of our brothers and sisters, perhaps take care of our own family. So, all these expectations further feed into your increase of mental frequencies. Remain detached, do your duty. Nothing can stop you from getting what you deserve. If in your bank account 100 crore rupees has to be deposited in this birth time, not a single soul in the world can stop you from getting it. Leave alone your boss, leave alone your customer, leave alone your organization. Only when you remain happy and peaceful, you will be able to do a great job and remain highly productive. So remember that. Prepare your mind in silence. Spend 8-10 hours every week. Sit in silence. List down all those trigger points which increases your frequencies in the mind. Find a replacement thought, a replacement mindset that will sustain your lower frequency. My prayers and blessings for you. Be blessed by the divine. You will succeed.
Be blessed. Rudresh?
ಬಾಳ್ಗೆ ಸಮೃದ್ಧಿಯೊಂದಿಗೆ I have two questions. And this silence, can it be practiced on any part of the day? And for how many hours we can practice? That is my first question. And second question, how it is different from meditation? Please, sir.
You can practice silence introspection at any given point of time. And you can practice as long as you wish to practice. I once stayed in silence for 17 long days and I was at home. And you can practice too. It's not hard. You just have to try. If you try, you can sustain it for as long as you wish to sustain it, as long as, of course, your circumstances permit you to do so. So there is no specific time for you to remain in silence, but don't remain in silence and claim it as silence in your scorecard when you're going to sleep. Doesn't count as silence. So therefore, what is silence? Silence is being in touch and losing yourself, merging yourself with the eternal stillness. That means you should reach a thoughtless state. It is not possible to reach a thoughtless state always. Thoughts keep emanating from within us. It is not possible to stop thinking, but it is possible to stop negative thinking. And therefore, we must follow the 5-step process given to us by our Guru, Yogiraj Sri Vedatri Maharishi: analysis of thoughts, moralization of desires, neutralization of anger, eradication of worries, and who am I? When we consistently follow these 5 practices, gradually the mental frequency will come down and it will remain at the lower alpha level and even go down to theta and go down to delta frequencies as we need. Only in the delta frequency we can remain still. But it is not possible to always remain at the delta frequency. Or even if you remain there for 1 second or even a fraction of a second, and that is a great start. But at least you can remain at the high alpha around 13 and 14 cycles per second. For that, you have to train your brain to remain calm and peaceful at all times. Brain training begins with the power of visualization. For instance, our friend who asked the question in the previous question, he said that his mental frequencies go up when he goes to office. So in this example, if I were in his shoes, I would take every Sunday off to sit and silently introspect. I will put a schedule. Wake up in the morning, do my exercises, do some housework, fix a particular time. Let's say 10 in the morning to 6 in the evening. 10 in the morning, start with Dhuriya meditation. 10:20, sit and analyze the thoughts. When we analyze the thoughts, we sit and listen to our mind. We write down all the thoughts that come to our mind one by one. We examine the thoughts. We analyze what is the origin of the thoughts. Is it need, habit, others' imposition, environmental stimulus or environmental condition? Is it genetic or is it divine? These are the one of the 6 reasons for our thoughts. So we must find out what is the origin of the thought. Then we must ask ourselves, if this thought manifests as action in us, as words or deeds, will it hurt us or others, now or in the future, physically or mentally? If so, then it is a negative thought. We must find a positive thought and use the power of auto suggestion. For instance, when the frequencies go up, when we see our boss in the office, in silence, we should visualize seeing the boss on Monday morning. There he comes. Here we are sitting in our seat. But this time, I am not anxious. This time, I'm very well prepared for my work. I know what I'm supposed to have done last week. I know what I have done, and I have prepared a plan for what I wish to do this week. So, therefore, I'm super confident. So, I wish him good morning. I wish him be blessed. And I wait for him to ask me any questions because I'm prepared for all his questions. So, with kindness and friendship and compassion and full of confidence, I have practiced how I will respond. This particular moment, I am not reacting, but I am responding. This is alpha frequency. Likewise, I get rid of my desires, unwanted desires, unfulfillable desires, and I get rid of my anger, and I get rid of my anxieties and fears and worries. And I question, who am I? Am I the body? Am I the mind? Am I the soul? Am I that Akash? Am I that eternal space which seems to be occupying about 99% of an atom? And perhaps is the reason why that 1% Akash also exists within that atom. Who am I? So when I go through that schedule of silence on a Sunday from 10 in the morning to 6 p.m., I automatically train my brain to remain absolutely peaceful. So therefore, meditation helps us to increase the willpower. Meditation is about focusing our mind on our own life force, where introspection is about inspecting, is about analyzing, is about observing, is about listening to our own mind, is about discriminating between right and wrong and choosing right over wrong and using the power of auto suggestion to superimpose right over wrong and remain peaceful, harm free, and follow ahimsa at all times. One helps the other. I hope I have answered your question. Be blessed.
Thank you, sir. Kanagarajan.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Vazhga Valamudan. Be blessed by the directions. Are you hearing, sir?
Be blessed.
Yes, sir. Very excellent and great valued speech you have given us, sir. We are really thankful to you about the silence. We learned more from you, sir. That we are all really thankful to you, and I respect you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Be blessed by the way. Vazhga Valamudan.
Be blessed.
Manigandan. Manigandan. Thank you, sir, for patiently answering our questions and sharing your insights and divine thoughts. It's time for us to express gratitude. Come to meditation position. Keep your mind at Turiya Chakra. Professor Krish Murali Eswar, be blessed by the divine. His good health, be blessed by the divine. His loving family, be blessed by the divine. His divine service, be blessed by the divine. We're happy to bring the following online programs live from Alia Temple of Consciousness tomorrow. Morning 6 a.m. exercises in Tamil. 7 a.m. 9 center meditation in Tamil. 7:30 we have 9 center meditation in English. Morning 11 a.m. we have speech in Tamil by Professor Samitran on the topic Guruvai Vanda Ireva. Evening 6 p.m. Duryadida meditation in Tamil. 7:30 p.m. Duryadida meditation in English. 7:55 p.m. we have speech in English on the topic Love and Compassion by Assistant Professor Dr. P.K. Rangasamy. Please share the invite with your friends and relatives. Let everyone take part in this spiritual journey and get benefited. We thank our beloved President Arunidhi Padma Shri S.K. Mailanandan for his leadership and guidance. This is Vijay from the Aliyar World Community Service Center IT team. Be blessed by the divine. Vazhga Valamudan. Stay safe, stay blessed. See you all tomorrow. Good night.